He played Han Solo and Indiana Jones for decades, but you won't believe how many roles Harrison Ford has turned down over his 50-year career.
I'm working. What are you doing?
First, before he became a superstar, Ford was on the other side of casting decisions. He auditioned to play Benjamin Braddock in 1967's The Graduate, but director Mike Nichols went with Dustin Hoffman. A few years later, he flew to New York on his own dime to audition for Joe Buck in Midnight Cowboy, but lost that role to Jon Voight.
Myself now, I'm a kind of hustler.
In 1971, after guesting on TV series like Love American Style, Ford was offered the role of Mike Meathead Stivic on All in the Family. But he turned it down, citing the bigotry of Archie Bunker and clearing the way for Rob Reiner to take the role.
What am I supposed to do when the leaves fall off of my tree? You don't have any leaves. Your tree's dead. Get away.
Ford finally caught his break in movies in 1973, getting cast in George Lucas's American Graffiti, just as he was starting to pursue another career in carpentry.
Hey, you're supposed to be the fastest thing in the valley, man, but that can't be your car. It must be your mama's car.
Lucas later used Ford to help screen test other actors for his next movie, a science fiction adventure called Star Wars.
Checks out again, there's no mistake.
Ford read so naturally as Han Solo that the director eventually cast him over actors like Kurt Russell and Burt Reynolds.
Han Solo. I'm captain of the Millennium Falcon.
In 1981, Lucas was adamant on not making Raiders of the Lost Ark, which he wrote and executive produced, another Harrison Ford movie. But after Tom Selleck backed out, director Steven Spielberg suggested Ford again, and Lucas relented.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
In 1983, he turned down Terms of Endearment, citing the age difference between himself and Shirley MacLaine. Jack Nicholson then took on the role and won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his performance.
You do bring out the devil in me.
A year later, he was offered the lead in Beverly Hills Cop after Sylvester Stallone dropped out, but declined to star in Witness, which earned him his first and so far only Oscar nomination. In 1988, producer James L. Brooks spent 6 months waiting on Ford to agree to play Josh Baskin in Big, with Spielberg directing. But Ford ultimately passed, and Tom Hanks made the movie with Penny Marshall. That same year, Ford turned down John McClane in Die Hard and Mel Gibson's role in Tequila Sunrise, hesitant to play a drug dealer.
How can you feel about your boy the way you do and sell drugs?
Speaking of Gibson, he, Michael Douglas, and Ford were all set to star in Runaway Bride during its 10-year development process, until it ultimately became a repairing of Pretty Woman's Richard Gere and Julia Roberts, who replaced Gina Davis. Ford and Kevin Costner have a fun history in casting. Costner took on roles as Elliot Ness in The Untouchables and attorney Jim Garrison in JFK after Ford turned them down. Then in 1997, Costner had to bail out on Air Force One to film The Postman and suggested Ford for the role. Costner later took on Dragonfly in 2002 after Ford passed. 2002 was also the year Christopher Nolan made Insomnia with Al Pacino. Ford was attached to an earlier version of that movie when Jonathan Demme was set to direct.
Okay. Anything else?
In real life, Ford would never be able to sleep if he took on all the movies he's offered. Here's a very long list of other roles he's turned down. Tom Skerritt's in Alien, Bob Hoskins in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Warren Beatty's as Dick Tracy, Patrick Swayze's in Ghost, James Caan's in Misery, Nick Nolte's in Cape Fear and The Thin Red Line, Liam Neeson's in Schindler's List and Kinsey, Sam Neill's in Jurassic Park, Dustin Hoffman's in Outbreak, Jeff Bridges in The Mirror Has Two Faces, Tom Hanks's in Saving Private Ryan, Mel Gibson's in The Patriot, Russell Crowe's in Proof of Life, Michael Douglas's in Traffic, Kurt Russell's in Vanilla Sky, Val Kilmer's in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Viggo Mortensen's in A History of Violence, Nicolas Cage's in World Trade Center, and George Clooney's in The Perfect Storm and Syriana, the latter of which won Clooney a Best Supporting Actor Oscar and is the role Ford has said he most wishes he would have played.
I'm not the enemy. Then who are you?
Next up, Ford returns to theaters in an adaptation of Jack London's 1903 novel The Call of the Wild, and there are long-standing rumors of a fifth Indiana Jones.
Prepare to meet Kali.